the 24-hour entertainment capital of the world, New York City, on just a beautiful evening in the middle of June. Next fight up is going to be a championship battle. Demetrius Andrade goes against Brian Rose. The WBO Junior Middleweight Championship on the line, and it is held by Andrade, who won it in good fashion in his last fight. It's New York City, and right next to it, the borough of Brooklyn. They vie with each other, and the Barclays Center here in Brooklyn at the heart of it all. Dave Bontempo and Brian Adams with you, and this should be an interesting matchup with Rose and Andrade. Champion against the #1 contender. Should be pretty interesting here.
Very interesting matchup because Brian Rose, he's the underdog, and he's not a big puncher. There's 7 knockouts in 25 fights, so he said he's going to knock out Demetrius Andrade. He said he's the favorite, not Andrade.
Well, interesting way to talk it up and try to get yourself in a good position here. Andrade is a storied amateur at the AIBA World Championships.
Right, he won the World Championships in the 08 Olympics. 2012 Olympics, I'm sorry. No, 08 Olympics.
In the 08, he did
the 08,
very
I'm
well.
sorry, right. He was the best American boxer we had at that Olympic Games.
I was able to see him in AIBA on the way up in those championships in 2007. He won 6 fights and made them all look easy.
He's very talented, very, very slick, southpaw. He's a boxer by trade, but if he had to get gritty and fight, he's a fighter also.
I'll tell you what's very interesting about these two guys, which you don't usually see coming into a fight. They both come off a split decision 12-round victory in their last fight.
Yes.
Andrade against Martirosyan, split decision 12.
Brian Rose against Javier Marcel.
So you see guys get that once in a while in their career, but not usually in their last fight. Both of them. What it shows is that both guys have composure. They both know how to win close fights and late rounds.
What was interesting to me is Brian Rose, as I said, he's not the knockout guy on paper, but he has faced 2 former world champions, Vivian Vicious Harris and Joaquin Alcine. Both guys he's able to stop. Both guys are past their prime though, but he's still able to knock those former world champions out, and you generally don't see former world champions being knocked out because they know how to get through and pass the rounds.
Andrade has wins over guys like Freddie Hernandez, Saul Duran, Grady Brewer, some names people would recognize.
Grady Brewer, big puncher.
So we're just moments away from seeing these guys.
But the one thing that stands out is the fact that Andre, Boo-Boo as his nickname is, he's only gone 8 or more rounds 4 times in his career. You know, whereas you look at Brian the Lion Rose, he's going more than 8 on 8 occasions.
Let's take a look at these guys and see how they match up on the tail of the tape. Andrade is 3 years younger, a little bit of a height advantage and a significant reach advantage for the champion coming in here. And I think the reach advantage is a most telling number there.
Because Boo-Boo uses that reach and his height well. So if you have a tall southpaw who knows how to use his assets, it can be very, very difficult getting to him.
I like the breakdown of his profile too. 20-0 with 13 knockouts. That's a good profile percentage. Shows you can go the distance and stop guys. And in the 154-pound division, you've got Floyd Mayweather, the WBC champion. Floyd and Erislandy Lara in charge of the WBA. Carlos Molina for the IBF. And Andrade is the WBO champion, with Rose being the #1 contender.
And Rose feel that he has earned his #1 ranking.
All right, so let me ask you this. When you look at all those names, Floyd, Lara, Molina, Andrade, Rose, how would you rate the 154-pound division?
Well,
It's a pretty strong one with names like that.
let's put
Especially
it
with
this
Floyd.
way. Right, right. Let's put it this way. Let's remove Floyd out of it.
Okay.
And I would say is a pretty even division at the moment. I think all of the guys match up equally. Again, minus Floyd.
He starts to make that walk, and here's the moment of truth coming.
Well, it's too late then.
Well, this guy has been pretty smooth for a number of years. Pride of Providence, Rhode Island. Trained by his dad, Paul Andrade. As mentioned, he won his decision against Vanis Martirosyan in November 2013. And he got off the deck to do it.
Yes. Impressively, too. He won very good. Vanis, another U.S. Olympian. To me personally, I like to get to the ring, get in the ring. I didn't like to take my time and stroll. Get in the ring, let's get the fight going.
This is part of like a major pay-per-view presentation where, I mean, certain guys that have rappers with them and everything. They've taken it to levels and levels. I'm with you. Take care of business. There's Michael Buffer. We'll introduce the fighters.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Barclays Center here in Brooklyn, New York, USA. Tonight, it's a World Championship doubleheader live on HBO, and it's all presented by Art Palulo's Banner Promotions, Top Rank Incorporated, along with Joe DeGuardia Star Boxing, first bout presented in association with Eddie Hearn. Sponsored by Tecate con Caracter and Fram Oil Change, done right, along with Cortizia Vodka, sanctioned by the New York State Athletic Commission. At ringside, the three judges scoring this first bout: Julie Letterman, John Potteray, and Alan Rubenstein. And inside the ring, in charge of the action at the bell, referee Michael Griffin. And now, 12 rounds of boxing for the WBO Light Middleweight Championship of the World. Fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black with green, official weight 153 1/2 pounds. His professional record stands at 25 victories, including 7 knockouts, with only 1 defeat and 1 draw. From Blackpool, Lancashire, England, the challenger former Lonsdale belt titleist, and the WBO Intercontinental Champion, Brian the Lion Rose. And fighting out of the red corner, wearing purple, weighing in officially at 153 3/4 pounds. As a professional, a perfect record. 20 fights, 20 victories, including 13 knockouts. He's from Providence, Rhode Island, USA. The reigning, defending, undefeated WBO light middleweight champion of the world, Demetrius Boo-Boo Andrade.
Vaseline go to everybody's face. Don't worry about it. I got it. Ready right away? Yeah. Oh, wait a sec for these guys.
All right, so as you see the rules flash across the bottom,
Gentlemen, let's go.
the referee calls them into the middle of the ring, and we'll hear the perfunctory
Okay, Brian.
final words.
Demetrius. Let's go. You men both receive my instructions. Obey my commands. Protect yourselves all the time. Touch gloves now. God bless you both.
All right, so Andrade didn't look at Rose, nonchalanted it. And there's Rose across the way. His only loss, fighter by the name of Maxwell. But he's the #1 contender now. And the biggest
Bring the
fight
ball,
of his
man.
life
Come on, fellas.
is right in front of him, and here we go.
This first round is very important for Brian Rose to see if the lights in New York
Watch
City
your feet, man. Watch your feet. Get off his foot.
freezes him. This is his first fight outside the UK. So let's see what happens in this first round with Brian Rose.
We see guys react a variety of ways to that New York spotlight. Some naturally embrace
Yeah,
it.
some feast on it, yeah. Some feast on it, and some are deer in headlights.
Now we've got the interesting lefty-righty matchup here too.
Nice jabs by Boo-Boo.
He is sharp on the outside here. That's a nasty, hard jab cutting through. Now Rose would like to get the right hand lead off, but he's going in against a quick guy and he's down. Boy, some sweet feet there by Andrade as he shifted position and scored. Well, that's one vote for deer in the headlights.
And sure enough, Rose is just covering up. See, if you're Rose, you want to get up, shake it off, and you want to attack. Rose is now laying back.
What about tying up? Would that have served him?
I mean, tie up only if you're hurt. It doesn't appear that he's hurt.
I think he's
just
getting more hurt
shell-shocked.
by the second and shell shocked. The body shots here. Heavy blows here by Andrade. Good straight left hand gets through. There's that right hand lead by Rose.
Right, no punches. Step back, no punches. Don't push him.
Referee Michael Griffin from Canada.
A rousing start here for Andrade.
But he can't get too comfortable. Nice long left hand. That wasn't solid because Andre was moving.
Take a look at the action there with the right hand lead. Feet near each other. You don't want to be stepping on them. You want to keep your lead foot outside the lefties. But the quickness of Andrade nullified all that. And he scored a knockdown.
Right, no punches. Step back.
whopping margin in the numbers for Andrade power punches, 17-2 in that round. And in that case, the numbers really do tell a story.
Timing!
And I told you can't do that. You can't stand in front of me. You know what I mean? You know you can't. You've got to keep moving. You're not mobile and you're standing in front of him. You're going to stop doing that, Tommy. You've got to stop doing that, Dan. You know what I mean? You've got to start moving your head and moving around the ring. He's just teeing up on his son. He's tapping you that backhand. You're not moving to your left or anything. So you've got to start moving your head, son. You know what I mean? You've got to start moving them feet.
Well, you can see early on in the first round, long left hand. This time, Andre stepped in with that. And Brian Rose took the full brunt of it, stepping in right on the chin.
Take it out, let's go.
And Boo Boo, Andre Mother's here.
For the bell, guys.
She likes what she see. Good start.
Off his foot.
Yeah, it jumped right up for that one.
Right,
Second round action. You know, you love it. You look back at that shot. The balance of Andrade as he punched through the situation. The first punch was blocked, but the block opened up the entire avenue
Yes.
for the shot that landed.
I wonder growing up if Mom Sharon ever delivered a 1-2 on Boo Boo like that. They got another long left hand.
We were waiting to hear something like, just like I taught you.
Andre just cannot miss with that left hand. And Brian Rose, what Brian Rose needs to do is he needs to move to his left. I know they tell people move to your right against southpaws, but I don't buy into that fact. Move to your left. Force him to throw right hooks. Let him get right hook happy as opposed to throwing that long left hand.
Yeah, because he's found a home for that long left hand.
And he's comfortable with it.
And he sets it up with his positioning.
Yeah, but again, he's well-rounded. He was the top world champion in the amateurs. So I'm sure he spent a lot of time growing up fighting. Nicknamed Boo Boo. Had a lot of fights growing up.
Not many professional fighters named Boo Boo. There was a guy, Robert Boo Boo Sawyer, years ago, and he was a lefty also, a stylist. What separates Andrade from a lot of guys is a lot of fighters will set up the second punch with their first shot. He does a lot of his setting up with his footwork before he gets
moves
in.
into the proper position.
And then he's got the quickness off of that.
Yeah. Subtle steps right around. That time, he moved around and then out. And for the most part, he's around and he's inside.
Good jab here by Andrade. Good left hand pops through.
And Rose is just not forcing the issue the way he should.
Well, you used the term shell-shocked last round.
Off his foot,
There
get
might
off his
still be a
foot.
carryover.
Yes.
Body shots here by Andrade. Thought about going righty for a second, then thought better of it.
See right there, Rose caught 3 punches with his arms. He did not fire back one shot. You have to be able to block and counter.
40-8 punches landed Andrade, and a knockdown to his credit as well. Take a look at the magic of Andrade here.
You can see he throws that jab, and Rose tries to catch it and parry it, and he lands the long left hand time after time.
So that champion and this challenger, Andrade, doing everything right so far as we head into round 3. Scheduled for 12, Demetrius Andrade and Brian Rose. Andrade holds the WBO Junior Middleweight Championship. Dave Bontempo and Brian Adams with you here in Brooklyn, New York. And another good left hand by Andrade.
Rose did a good job in that sequence, partially blocking it, but for the most part, he needs to move his head. He's trying to block all of Boo Boo punches with his hands. Move your head, move your upper body. That's the only way you're going to get close, of moving your upper body and moving your legs.
A good right hook to the body by Andrade.
And every 30 seconds, throwing up one jab is not going to do it to Rose. That was not a knockdown.
Throwdown.
Yeah,
But they're counting.
That was not a knockdown, but the referee is calling it a knockdown.
That was a throwdown.
8, you all right? You all right? Go, give me a hand.
And that was right in front of the referee, so I can't even say the referee was out of position.
And we'll get another look at it, I'm sure. There's a good left hand.
You know, unless Boo Boo's that quick, because Brian Rose did not argue one bit. So maybe Boo Boo's quicker than we thought, and he threw a shot in there that we didn't see.
Good straight left hand by Andrade. Good body shot here.
Nice counter right hook by Andrade.
Good jab here by Andrade.
Now Boo Boo's going flat-footed and he's stalking, which is not a good sign for Brian Rose.
Right hook, good body work. Teeing off is Andrade. A good right hand back. And then he gets out of the way here. He gets on the outside jabbing. A pretty sharp beginning to this fight for Demetrius Andrade.
Nice right hand by Brian Rose. Sneaky right hand on the inside. And that's what he have to do. When Andre's on attack, he have to throw in between those shots and just hope to land.
That's another good body shot by Andrade.
And Boo Boo, if you watch, he's keeping Rose turning. Every time he punch, he steps either left or right and force Rose to turn.
Another lopsided punching round here. It's 23-2 punches landed. Andrade over Rose. So in the first 3 rounds of this fight, Rose has 2 rounds in which his punch total is 5. That's the first and third rounds combined. A tribute to this man, Andrade. Too quick.
Get the finger on his shoulder. Right here, be smart. You understand? The only thing you can go at you can shoulder jab, don't take it to the double. Bang, body and head. Took the shoulder jab, don't take the hook, take it to the body. Okay? It's okay.
You know, my scorecard last round, I had to score 10-8 because the referee
You can't do it.
called a
You've
knockdown.
got to get your feet and get
And we have to score it the way the referee scores it. Let's take a closer look at it. A right hook to the temple area. And then he went to grab and Boo Boo through the shoulder and pushed him off. Did they feet get tangled?
Second down, let's go.
Yeah, legs got tangled. Boo Boo pushed him with the elbow.
Come on, let's go.
Referee standing right there.
We called it right. Not a knockdown. Said it at the time. And it does count.
I mean,
Might
again,
be
unless I missed
academic,
something
but
else.
No, the feet were tangled, and he did push him.
Stop. Box.
There's some stunning numbers as we head into round 4. Andrade 54-8 in punches landed. So that's one round was 3, one round was 2, one round was 3. And that's a tribute to how quick Andrade is to get up the mark first, and he stymied Rose, and also his quickness in getting away.
Yes.
This is a very sharp-looking fighter.
But if you see Rose now he's starting to move to his left. And when I noticed when he moves left, that's when Boo Boo starts to jab more.
Don't pick him up.
When he stands in front of Boo Boo, or he moves right, Boo Boo throws that lead left hand.
So you're saying tonight, because of that long left hand, throw away the textbook way to fight a southpaw.
Well, no, I always tell people move left when you fight a southpaw. I personally always tell guys that. You know, I fought maybe 24 southpaws in my career, amateur and pro. I never had a problem moving left against southpaws. If you move right, it only means that you're going to throw the left hook after your right hand. You can still throw the right hand and jab if you're moving left.
Andrade on the outside, good left hand. Jab, and Rose moving straight back. And he knows what he wants to do. Rose knows that right hand lead is there, and he's tried to go to it a couple times, but that intangible asset of quickness for Andrade,
very quick,
defies him.
And he's so quick and so accurate with his shots that you almost have to be perfect when you punch.
Hard jab here from Andrade.
And I'm not quite sure why we hear some boos, because this is an excellent performance up to this mark by Demetrius Andrade.
Yeah, we don't even know if it's boo-boo either.
Could be that.
But, you know, if you're not happy with it, what you're missing is there's deceptive power coming from Andrade. It's not just pot shots. He shifts Rose often, moves him off the mark. And it's another good round for him.
Try and get that 1-2 off. It's not really good. You need to drop it downstairs. 2 seconds out. What do you think, son?
It has been a strong performance for the champion, Demetrius Andrade, as he takes on #1 contender Brian Rose for the WBO junior middleweight title here at Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. There have already been 2 recorded knockdowns, although only one was legitimate, and yet it has been Andrade's show all the way.
The Boo Boo Show.
That's his nickname, and he has been a pleasant surprise if you're seeing him for the first time. One thing you can really like about him is this is a guy who came out of a system in which you had to punch for the computer. Back in those days, it was all bing it out, try to tally up the numbers. And sometimes it's a tough adjustment for those guys to turn pro, but this guy has done so very well.
Yes. Well, it's a compliment to his training and his trainer, his dad. See, right there is where Rose needs him to be. And he's standing in front of Rose. Rose is just not punching.
Don't push him.
Andrade gets off first, straight left hand gets through. Now what causes that when you get the guy right where you want him and you can't get off?
It's just called shell shock or being mesmerized. For the past 4 rounds, he's been punching, moving, being elusive, stepping around. So you're conditioned right now to think that's what's going to happen. So when he stands in front of you, it's sort of, I can't believe it. And then when you realize, nice right hand there by Rose. When you realize it is happening, again, he's slipping and he's gone. It's too late. So he got Rose conditioned to think that he's going to be pot shotting and moving and giving angles.
So he's already in his head.
Yes.
And we're into round 5. There's a right hand lead by Rose again. So a few opportunities are presenting itself to him. There's that movement by Andrade.
And he's mixing it up. He started the round off in close quarters, working on Rose. Now he's starting to be more elusive in box. So it's keeping Rose off balance.
And Rose just can't find him.
No punches. Do step back too. Let's go.
And then when he does, as you said, he's mesmerized as we come to the end of round 5.
Time.
Our main event is next. Ruslan Provodnikov and Chris Algieri. There is Provodnikov. 23-2, 16 knockouts, and the champion. So he steps it up here at Barclays Center and goes before his biggest audience, the pride of Russia, going against the local guy.
Now let's go. Seconds out.
Demetrius Andrade has put on a show so far as we head into round 6 against Brian Rose. Good hand speed once again from Andrade.
And he came out this round with a different look, giving Rose a different look, just throwing blistering combinations. So he came out last round, he pressed action, got right in Rose's chest.
Don't push him.
Then he started boxing. He came out this round just throwing a lot of punches, a lot of fast punches, different looks.
He sees opportunity here. He's trying to unload and get some good power on these shots. Right hook to the head, left hand downstairs, right hook to the body.
Don't push him. Don't push him.
With straight left hand by Andrade. Good right
Nice
hook
right
to
hook
the body. And through all this, Rose got nothing.
But just hold on, it's coming. He's going to throw a punch sooner or later.
Well, this reverts back to what you were saying last round about your Rose. You expect that
Right.
when you get close like this, you're not going to get off first.
Right. Or if you get off, he's going to be gone. So he has conditioned Rose to be his puppet, so to say.
Yeah, it makes the guy stop.
Right.
And you can do that to a guy by either being a faster fighter or a stronger fighter. Once the other guy knows you're stronger than him.
Or just a smarter fighter. I remember real quick a story Eddie Futch told me about Archie Moore. Said Archie Moore was fighting. He was old at this point, but he fought a young guy. And for 5 rounds, he's coaching the young guy. He's fighting the guy, but he's coaching him. Double jab kid, right hand kid, left hook kid, and it was all working. About the 6th round, he told the kid, okay, stand still. And the guy stopped. Archie Moore hit him with the right hand, knocked him out. So, you know, you could get your opponent to be your puppet, so to say. And right now, Rose is trusting everything Boo Boo's doing.
Andrade getting off first here. Good left hand behind. He was just showing the jab, setting up the power shot.
And I know you're sitting at home saying, oh, he should knock this guy out. Get this guy out of there. Rose has shown that he can be durable. I don't think Boo Boo can get a knockout if he tried. I don't think he can.
Outdoes him 27-4 in this round.
Attack that body, go up and down with it. Go down and up with it. Keep him there. Nice combination. Now let's pick up the speed. Okay, seconds out. You okay? You gonna finish? No. Seconds out.
We push ahead with what has so far been the Demetrius Andrade show. He's way out in front and dominating here against Brian Rose, who's going to the second half of this championship 154-pound fight. Andrade is the champion and looking like it.
Yeah, he's looking real solid.
Back up.
He's winning handily. Nice. Right to the body.
Oh, he hurt him. The uppercut hurt him. He has that opportunity now.
It's the speed that's hurting Rose now.
Rose fires wildly, but Andrade got there with that uppercut, tries it again. And you talked about the speed, and the speed is the power.
And you know what? Jokingly, you always say, a guy must think he's fighting 2 or 3 people. But Rose really must think he's fighting 2 people. Punches coming all over in different angles and fast.
Well, he's getting busted up and beaten up right now. And Andrade is
Referee Michael
unloading.
Griffin in the corner. Looks like the corner is going to stop the fight.
Yeah, they would be smart to, and they do. Because he was sitting down on his punches.
It's a punching bag.
And getting everything in. And these were painful shots, blood drawn, clear shots, and that was a timely stoppage.
I'm sorry, man. I apologize.
And this is a fun guy. We're going to look forward to other fights that we might see from him at 154.
And what makes it good is the fact that he was dominating. He stuck to a game plan, and then he stepped it up and got the guy out of there. So I stand corrected. I said if he tried to knock him out, I don't think he will. Obviously, there go Mama Sharon.
Yeah, you like that combination, huh, Mom? Well, you know, they'll always put Floyd in the middle of conversations, and you don't know what Floyd wants to do, but a fight with Carlos Molina might also be entertaining. Championship fight, because you don't know, this is a #1 contender. This is a mandatory challenger for him. Let's get the final numbers from Michael Buffer as to when this one ended, as Andrade goes to 21-0 and 14 knockouts.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at Barclays Center, referee Michael Griffin calls a halt to the contest. The official time, 1 minute, 19 seconds of round number 7. The winner by technical knockout, and still the undefeated WBO light middleweight champion of the world, Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade.
All right, so a strong performance.